Now look at what we got here. The first review on the all-new RIDGID OCTANE Brushless 18-volt quarter-inch sheet sander. Model number for this, R86064B. You know what I say, let's get it started. As always, your home for the RIDGID OCTANE tools. If you want to see more of these tool reviews for the RIDGID OCTANEs, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video, by the way. Not even out on the market yet. Thank you, RIDGID. They sent this over for you guys to take a look at, for us to review it. We're going to see how this thing operates. Now, one of the older models of the RIDGID, one of the biggest complaints was being able to keep that sandpaper held in by the clip. We're going to look at that. We're going to use the 3AH battery on this today. It is the smart battery, the RIDGID OCTANE battery. Just an FYI, when this becomes available, I will put a link in the description below for you to check it out yourself. So all in all, the RIDGID OCTANE, you could talk to anybody else that's been using these tools. These things are built really well, professional grade. Check out the dust collector bag. You put it on, you tighten it up, and that's it. So you're going to be able to collect those finer particulates, and I'll show you how that works. If you do not want to use the bag, they also give you a vac attachment, so you can put that on instead, hook a vacuum up to it, and go to town. Now, this does come with some sandpaper. It does not come with the battery. If you use the regular 18-volt RIDGID batteries, they will work, but they will not give you the OCTANE performance, so I do recommend you using the OCTANE batteries. Now, I haven't ripped this apart, but check it out. Metal. Wow, can you believe it? They actually used metal on the tool. Now on the side here you have your power button and you got 3 different settings. Now I will tell you, I'm used to my button being on the front. It's a little bit weird on the side, but it's just something I got to get used to. But you do have 3 different speeds. It is the brushless motor, so it will deliver up to 14,000 OPM. So right now I'll let you hear the different speeds. Now I did look to see what the OPM was on the lower settings, and I couldn't find anything. I'm sure there'll be more information out there soon on it, and when it is, I will let you know. Now before I show you how to put the sandpaper on, I will tell you the only thing that I did not like about this sander, out of everything, was it always starts on high. It's not that big of a deal, but if you put it on medium, you shut it off and you turn it back on, it always goes back to the high position. So let's talk about adding this sandpaper here. I'm going to take off the dust collector bag. See this little pin? All you got to do is pull that up. You can see, yeah, we're going to take this one off. Real simple. It got a nice little spring to it. When I first seen it, I said, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it works really, really well on it. Again, all you got to do, pull up on that, bring it down. It opens up that back clamp. Just a closer look for you. Again, you're just going to pull that out and it will open up this little back clamp. So it's really easy to use, and if you wanted to use the sticky sandpaper, you won't have to use that at all. So yep, and now you got a little button on the front. All you got to do is push that. That's a front clamp for your sandpaper. Now let me show you how this goes in. So we got some 120 grit. Doesn't matter if it's 60 grit, 80 grit, whatever, but I already bought the pre-cut sheets. We're just going to push that front button right there, slide her in, it'll clamp itself. Now you're going to come to the back over here, and these are Diablo sheets. You do get a couple sheets, I think they're 80 grit with the actual sander itself, but that's it. Now you see your little pin, your little clamp, all you got to do is push it down in. Now check this out. Now you have holes on the bottom of this, the sandpaper doesn't. So instead of going out and buying more expensive sandpaper, if you can't find it with the holes, look at this. All you got to do, this comes with it, all you got to do is take this little plate with the holes, yes, you got to put it on the front like so with that sandpaper, and it's actually going to create the holes. So check this out. It's going to put it on there, you're going to push, or you can lay it flat and just push down on the sander itself, but voila, you got your holes. Now that dust can go up into the dust collector bag, don't got to worry about it all over the place. Really super nice, and yeah, it even works on the heavier grit sandpaper like 60 grit. No issues at all, so very cool feature. Alright, let's do some sanding. We're going to use some 60 grit paper here. Now we don't have to use the clamp because this has a sticky back to it, and because that pad is nice and hard, we're just going to stick it right up on the front there like so, and that's it. Now we're going to create our holes. I'll show you how that works on the 60 grit paper. You know, we don't need that now, we'll just put that back in. Real simple to do if you did need to use those clamps. Let's make our holes. It's like magic. Let's pull that off. Alright, we're ready to go. Let's do some wood. So I got a couple pine planks here. We're going to use a 3.0 again, the octane battery. But we're going to use some 60 grit to cut down on this wood a little bit here. I'm actually making some bed rails. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this up a little bit. I'm going to let you hear it. So it started jumping around a little bit. I'm going to face that forward and I crank up the OPM a little bit, and it works a lot better that way. Still with the grain that it is. And again, it's a little weird with that being on the side. I'm used to them being on the front, so I just got to get used to it. You know, I'm using my left hand right now. It's a little bit harder to do with my left hand. When I use my right hand, which is my dominant hand, it's a little bit easier to, adjust those speeds or just shut it off, but I do have to get used to that. Now as for the vibration, not that bad at all. The overmold really thick and it covers the entire top of that, so I'm not really noticing too much at all. I mean, it's a sander, you're going to notice some, but definitely not as bad as I thought it would be. Now I had some thick gouges, even right here you can see them, and it takes them out really nicely. I had somebody ask me, so what is the difference between this sander and an orbital sander? Basically one that just spins around, and what's nice about this compared to the orbital is that the orbital, the pad's a lot softer, and it really works well if you're trying to take off a lot of nasty wood, or if you have rough surfaces, if you're sanding Bondo. And don't get me wrong, this will do that. As you can see, it took out that gouge right there. But what's nice about this is you don't have to worry about making waves. It's nice and flat. Another thing it's great for is finding low spots or high spots. So if you were using an orbital sander, a lot of times the orbital sander would go down into that low spot just because the padding is a lot softer in the way it's shaped, where this, it's great for finish work. And it's two different types of machines, two different types of sanders. And that's what's nice about this, is that you can do a lot of finish work with these types of sanders. Now, not sure if I mentioned it, but the weight, you're only looking about 3 or 4 pounds without the battery. It's really not bad at all. I actually like this a little heavier because it definitely helps push down on that material a little bit, where you're not trying to force it down. It's not wanting to jump around on you too much. Another thing I really like about this sander having the pretty much digital button instead of the knob is that when you go to hit that, I mean, it's quick. You don't have to guess. If you want the high, go to high. If you want the medium, you go to medium. If you want the low, you go to low. And it's really quick to do that. And if you're really trying to do some finish work and you're going on a low or even maybe a medium, it does a really good job. But again, that high, if you want to take out gouges or anything, I haven't had any issues. And there were some big gouges in this wood, but it took them out real nice and flat. There wasn't anything left, but there was no waves left in the board either because of that nice flat square surface. Another nice thing about this being the octane is that even though sometimes I was pushing down a lot harder on certain areas, I was not losing power at all because of the octane battery. It was applying that power when it was needed, so no bogging down of any kind. Even on the sides, it did a pretty nice job. The only thing is if I did not have my hand right up on that holder like so, or if I was trying to adjust it from the side, I could feel it wanting to slip out a little bit. Even though it has that textured grip, just felt like there was nothing behind it to sort of hold it in my hands because I was using my thumb on the side here instead of out in the front like I'm used to. Other than that, real smooth action. Took down everything I needed it to take down. Came out very, very smooth after I routed that. I basically took a router around that piece of wood and then just hit it with this, and it was just a nice straight smooth sand. Didn't have to worry about any type of deviation in that sanding on the material. Now, as far as it goes with the dust collector, does an excellent job. Again, I love that you can put your own holes in that piece of paper. Just awesome. But check this out, how fine that is. Instead of breathing it in or having it all over your shop area, it goes right into that bag very nicely. So much so, check this out, I put that sanding dust right back down on the board. We'll go right over it. And check out how that actually cleans that up. That's phenomenal. That's excellent. That's really impressive. And it does a great job in here. I'll empty it out again. So I'm really impressed with how well this actually collects the dust. So at the end of the day, It is a phenomenal sander, extremely powerful. I love that you can use the octane batteries or the regular batteries. If you want the full effect though, you want to go with the octane batteries so you don't lose power. You know, they're claiming that this thing runs about an hour and a half on one battery. I've used this for about a half an hour on high and I still got 3 bars left. So the power is definitely there. The comfort is definitely there. The only issue I had with it was, well, the side adjustment when it comes to the speed. I got to get used to that, but that's just me. It might not bother you. It might actually be better for you. As far as it goes with the paper, you can use the sticky or you can use the clamp. As far as it goes with holding that paper down in the clamp, not like the old version, much better design. As far as it goes with the pad, very solid, very stiff. You're not going to have to worry about waves or anything like that when you were using this. I also like that pin. At first when I seen it, I said, it's not going to work very well. But as far as it goes with the clamping mechanism on the front and that little clamping mechanism on the side, they both work very well. Very easy to use. Now they do claim that you get up to 90% dust collection from this unit. From what I've seen, they're not lying. Did a very good job. You can see that I went over that pile of dust again and it picked it all up. Now you can use 3 different size vacuum hoses on this. You can use a 1 1/4, a 1 7/8 inch, and a 2 1/2 inch. So very versatile when it comes to that. The battery goes in the back. Everything is balanced very well. The vibration, very minimal. It's comfortable. It's just a well done machine. Rigid stepping it up with the octane. And again, those octane batteries, they're smart batteries. You can check those out. We got a separate review for that. Just well done. I highly recommend. If you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, check us out at Tool Review Zone, and don't forget to come over and say hi to us on the Instagram page where we post pictures and do all kind of fun stuff over there where we don't necessarily do all of that here on the YouTube site. Also, hit that notification bell so you can see all of the newest releases of the Rigid Octane tools and many other brand of tools that we review here on the Tool Review Zone channel. With that, have a great one all.